Hey there, guys. All right, today we are back with some overly sarcastic productions. This time, back to Miscellaneous Myths. Fionn McCumaill. Totally butchered that. I am sorry, Ireland. I'm assuming Ireland. I'm gonna stay with my assumption of Ireland. Before we dive into the video, though, make sure you check out the links below in my description box. Most important link now is the link to the Discord. We've got one, so make sure you go ahead. Join the Discord and hang out with us. All right. Got nothing else to add here at the beginning. Let's just go ahead and dive into the Irish mythology here.
This video has been brought to you by our friends at the Great Courses Plus, so stick around to the end to learn how you can get a free 1-month trial. It's a well-known fact that Irish mythology has its fair share of badasses. Just look at Cuchulainn for one of the prime examples. But in the foggy annals of Gaelic mytho-history, one badass rises above the rest as a shining example of peak awesome, almost by virtue of name alone. Leader of the Fianna, magically gifted with all the world's wisdom, and fortuitously granted a name befitting his coolness, this is the story of Finn McCool. Yeah, with a name like that, how could he not be a...
That's how you pronounce that? That is Ireland. I fail to see how that last part, that last word there, equals cool. How you get cool? What?
Hero. Now, Finn's origins are a little complicated. The story of Finn McCool. Yeah, with
Finn McCool. Why have the UM? Why? Okay, I can understand the U there because that helps pronounce the Q. But the M? What purpose? You don't pronounce the M. Why have it there if you're not going to pronounce the M? Why? And I understand English has those words too. And I also hate those words as well. All right? I am fair. I am fair in my hatred of words.
With a name like that, how could he not be a hero? Now, Finn's origins are a little complicated, but it's a fairly familiar story to us modern audiences.
Oh?
Stop me if you've heard this one. A sellsword mercenary captain falls in love with the beautiful daughter of a powerful wizard, but the father disapproves of their union.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't mean to actually stop me. Yeah, Cool, leader of the Fianna, which is a ragtag band of warriors, falls in love with Muireann, daughter of Tig. But Tig, himself a powerful
So this dude is gonna be trouble somehow.
druid, knows through some mystic whatever that Cool will bring about his downfall, so when Cool comes calling from Muireann's hand, Tig turns him away. The story's unclear on Muireann's thoughts on the matter, but long story short...
Oh, and let me guess, the story is that because the old wizard dude, the father of the daughter, whatever, the druid, by trying to prevent Finn from marrying his daughter, that's what causes his downfall. I know that trope.
Cool kidnaps her and sparks all-out war between the Fianna and the High King, who Tig had asked for help. Cool is killed in the battle by this guy Gull MacMorna, but Muireann is already pregnant with Cool's son, and Tig rejects her as a result and orders her to be burned. Luckily for everyone involved, the High King isn't a total dick and puts Muireann under his protection. Muireann gives birth to a son, who
everyone and their grandmother is gonna want him dead. No pressure.
She gives to his aunt, the druidess Bomel, and her companion, the warrior woman Leah Lucra. So the kid, whose given name is Demne, grows up with fighter mom and druid mom.
And that is how you brew a potion to strip away a future. Oh, I love it when she gets spooky.
Who teach him the ways of fighting and druiding. And before you ask, every source I found was very non-specific about the nature of Bomel and Leah's relationship, so interpret it however you want. So Demne is raised in secret.
Bo, we got another social climber. Is it normal to nearly get murdered so much? It is for you.
Mostly because a metric boatload of warriors are waiting to gain mad prestige by murdering the son of the famous Cool. But after a childhood of
I'm gonna go make a name for myself. Make sure it's not your real one, because, you know, all the murder.
Wacky shenanigans, he starts enlisting under various kings, who all end up figuring out...
You're Cool's kid, aren't you? So they tell me. Hey.
Out his true identity because only the son of the legendary Cool could be so all-around badass. Also, somewhere along the line, people start calling him Finn, which just means light-haired. Some version of the myth say the nickname got started when his hair turned prematurely white, while in others it's just because he didn't tell people his name, so they started calling him Blondie. Anyway, eventually, Finn runs
What you doing? Oh, just fishing for a living artifact of great power.
Runs into this dude Finnegas, a druid and poet who spent 7 years trying to catch the hilariously named Salmon of Wisdom, in the hopes that it would grant him the aforementioned wisdom. Coincidentally, the moment Finn shows up, he manages to catch it, and orders Finn to watch the salmon while it cooks, but not to eat any of it while Finnegas runs off and does something somewhere else. But while Finn is tending the salmon, he accidentally burns his thumb on the grease, and sticks it in his mouth to cool. And seeing as this counts as consumption of some of the salmon, this immediately grants him the infinite wisdom of the Salmon of Wisdom. Finnegas returns, notices Finn looking a little smarter than before, and realizing what happened, lets Finn eat the rest of the salmon too. This grants Finn all the world's wisdom, but at a price. He can only access it by sucking his thumb. Anyway,
that is so stupid, but I love it. Hi, I hear my dad used to run the Fianna. Any chance I could get in on that?
Finn goes to the High King, a different one than the one who fought his dad, to see about joining the Fianna. But things are a little awkward because the current leader of the Fianna is Gull, the man who killed Cool way back when. So obviously nobody's too
Yeah, these guys. They're who I want to join.
keen on having his son join the party. But fortunately, Finn is
Okay, well, do you like proving yourself? Do I? That's Cool's kid, all right. Fucking see you.
given a chance to prove himself. See, for the past 23 years, every Samhain, this asshole fairy prince, Aelin Mac Midna, would put everyone to sleep with his music and then burn the roof of the High King's stronghold. Finn promises the High King that he'll defeat Aelin, and in doing so prove that he deserves to lead the Fianna. Luckily, Finn happens to have inherited a crane skin bag of magical weapons from Cool, and uses a magic red hot spear to stay awake during the magical serenade by stabbing himself in the face. Then, after a suitably epic fight, Finn kills Aelin and earns the respect of the High King and the Fianna. Gull willingly steps down, and Finn becomes the leader of the Fianna.
And Tug gives him his house, which fulfills that prophecy that caused him to reject first place.
Now let's talk about how Finn gets hitched. So he's out hunting one day, right? And he spots this gorgeous deer. No, let me finish. Which his hounds refuse to let him kill. Intrigued, Finn leads the deer back to his home, whereupon it turns into a beautiful woman named Sive, who was turned into a deer by the evil Far Daraha. Alright, before you jump up my ass about this, let me talk about why it is literally impossible for me to get these names right. The simplest reason is
Justification number 1, there is no single pronunciation, and I don't automatically know the one you like best.
that there is no one Irish Gaelic dialect. There are at least 3. Munster, Connacht, and Ulster all pronounce stuff differently, and even the grammar varies from region to region. Getting it right in one region usually means getting it wrong in at least one other. For this name alone, Ireland. I found like 4 different readings, and I also found that everyone gets really mad if you use the one that they don't. So, you know,
sounds like Ireland.
I don't know, composing an angry comment right now, just be aware that I have almost certainly heard it all before. Moving on, related to that dialect,
the English alphabet doesn't support Gaelic spelling at all. 100%.
Problem. The simple fact is that Gaelic is not optimized for the Latin alphabet. Most obviously, basic building block sounds that should by all rights be single symbols are frequently represented by pairs of letters because there's no single letter that corresponds to them. Beyond that, Gaelic words are hypothetically spelled phonetically, but the unfortunate fact is that those spellings can then be read a bunch of different ways, even if you do have an intuitive understanding of the phonetic rules. Which I do not. Because I am bad at this. So yeah, alright. Anyway, Far Daraha.
Alright, now that that's out of the way, Dark Man, evil druid, member of the Tuatha De Danann, turns into a deer because she wouldn't date him. Reasonable, I guess, plan? Not really, but sure, we'll go with it, evil dude. Part-time deer restored by Finn's house for some reason.
Daraha, who is a member of the Tuatha De Danann, the pre-Christian gods of Ireland, turns Sive into a
Somehow Palpatine returned.
deer, and Finn's house somehow turns her back. So Finn and Sive get married, and Sive ends up pregnant. But one day, while Finn is out doing his Fianna thing, Sive is lured out of the house by what turns out to be Far Daraha, who turns her into a deer again. Finn returns home to find the house empty, and searches the
Who's gonna have deer babies?
woods for Sive to no avail. But 7 years later, Finn finds a young boy wandering in the woods, spots a resemblance to his missing wife, and realizes that this kid is his son. So he names him Oisin,
See, this is how we hold a fork. We'll talk knives later.
and starts raising him. Oisin becomes one of the
Technically, I'm also the narrator, and I get to live in Tir na Nog.
baddest dudes in the Fianna and is an all-around cool guy. Now, as a culture hero, Finn has a ton of miscellaneous myths about himself, but we've basically covered all the major bases. But before I wrap this up, let's take a hot minute and talk about a literary motif most commonly associated with King Arthur, but also rather famously applies here, the King in the Mountain. In this motif, some great hero, rather than dying, instead bunkers down for a prolonged nap in some local geographical feature, only to awaken in their homeland's greatest time of need or when some other conditions are met. For example, Merlin is supposedly sealed in an oak tree, Charlemagne is said to be in the Untersberg, the Golem of Prague is supposed to be in the attic of the Old New Synagogue, and Vanamoinen, the hero of the Kalevala, just kinda sailed off into the sunset, promising to return in Finland's greatest hour of need. Man, if even half of these legends are true, the apocalypse is gonna be way more interesting than we get.
Yo, imagine though if all of these were true, and then the apocalypse happens and they all fucking come back. That'd be like Avengers level fucking collaboration. That would be pretty fucking sick. Hollywood, make it. And credit me and Red. We totally made this idea together. Fucking King Arthur. The other fucking names she mentioned. Charlemagne. Bring them all back. Apocalypse movie set in the future. But these mythological characters are fucking coming back. And then Charlemagne, the historical figure, coming fucking back. Kicking ass. Avenger style. Oh. Why hasn't that been made yet? That actually sounds cool. I would watch that a lot. That would be my favorite movie.
Give it credit for. Anyway, this King in the Mountain thing also applies to Finn and the Fianna, who are said to be sleeping in a cave somewhere in Ireland, only to awaken when the Dord Fionn, hunting horn of the Fianna, is sounded 3 times, whereupon they'll defend Ireland in its greatest time of need, as one does. Woo! Gnarly.
Your end credits will return after these messages.
Run away.
I'm planning on talking about Austin and some other members of the Fianna in more detail in later videos. Suffice to say that stuff isn't all happy fun times in Ireland. No. No, probably not. Literally, the only excuse I have for using this song is that it's technically from Adventure Time, which has a hero named Finn, and it mentions chilling in a cave. I hope I didn't strain anything with that reach. Self-burn! And that was Miscellaneous Myths, Finn McCool, because apparently that's how you fucking pronounce it. I'm gonna put more of the I'm gonna be nice to Ireland now and put more of the blame on the English Latin alphabet, because it's more fun to make fun of because the English ruled the world, and technically you could argue they still rule the world, right? English is kind of the business language. Okay, so I think it's totally fair that you just make fun of the English. It's fun. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Remember to hit that like button and subscribe for more. And I will see you guys in the next video. Peace. And by the way, when it comes to making fun of the English, you can lump me into that because I am an American. Just make fun of Americans too, right? Make fun of the people who are in charge. That would be the English and the American, right? That's how comedy works. You punch up. Never punch down. Punching down, lame. Goodbye.